Funky grapes, it's something I'm seeking out more and more of recently as I've gotten past kind of the Rieslings and the Chardonnays and the Pinot Gris and all the kind of standard stuff that you can find. It's nice when someone throws something at you that you haven't had before, a flavor profile that even if you completely hate it, that's totally fine. It's just about trying something different. So someone a few days ago had messaged me asking about music, and in another episode I had talked about what I was listening to right now. I figured I would do that a couple more times and just see if anyone wants me to keep doing it or not. But since we're talking about a funky grape today, the grape is Rebula, I figured I would pair it. Wine gets paired with food and music. I actually think that that's pretty true. Who is William Onyebar? Who the heck is this? Who has ever even heard this guy who's heard this album? Seek it out, check it out. Look for a song called Atomic Bomb and try and figure out why he's important to African music. I spent some time in Kenya 2 years ago, and this is funky. This is weird. You don't have to like it, but it's definitely different, and it's got kind of that coolness to it. And I think that Rebula has that too. If you haven't had Rebula, we'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, this album. You need to get it, you need to try it, you need to listen to it. One song on YouTube in the link below in the description. Click on it, check it out, see what you think. So, look at the color on this. This is really beautiful to look at. It's really cool to smell, really cool to taste. Funky, you may not like it. In fact, most of my friends that I've given this to didn't like it, but that's okay, they tried it, and I think that that's what's important here, is just getting exposed to different things. So, this particular Rebula, hard to find, really tricky to find, not a common wine. This is actually not made in a region that it's popular in this region, but the wine you'll usually find it in is made in the Friuli, Venezia, tripping up on my words here, northeastern Italy. That's where you'll typically find this grape being made, but it crosses the border into Slovenia, and that's where this is from. This is 2012 Movia. This is a pretty sought after wine. I think the 2006 got 92 points. Wine Spectator? Can't remember. Maybe I should retract that statement, but this was once a pretty sought after wine. This is the 2012. I bought a case of it, I loved it. I pull it out every now and then. It's funky, it's cool. So what is this grape? Well, it's a grape with kind of these weird characteristics. It's done in an interesting style. I'm gonna really just talk about this because I've only had a few Rebulas. One I've had was from Friuli. I had that in New York at a restaurant called Mulino a Vino, which if you are in New York or going to New York, I highly recommend checking it out. It is at 14 and 8, so West Side. Fantastic food, huge wine list, or I should do a Donald Trump huge. Maybe I don't want to associate myself with Donald Trump. Sorry if anyone's watching this is very pro-Donald Trump. Anyway, they've got a huge wine selection by the glass, a massive list of Italian wines, and they're very happy to talk to you about what's on that list and let you try a couple different things. I had the Rebula at Mulino a Vino. Loved it. I thought it paired really great with the bread that they put on the table. It had a kind of a tomato sauce kind of quality to it. The color was super funky. It was served via Corvin, you know, one of these guys, so you know you're getting something cool and sticking this on the wine. Pouring. Anyway. So, what's going on here? Well, as I said, the color really beautiful. I don't know if it's changing focus or what, but really deep amber color, little bits of orange. This is the extra skin contact with the grape that's giving it that deep color. Maybe a touch of oak going on in there, but let's give this a swirl. It's really pretty to look at on the nose. Wow, really complex. I'm getting beeswax and honey. There's like a salty kind of quality going on here, kind of like an olive juice. Can you say olive juice? It's kind of the water solution around olives. If you pick that up and smelt it, there's some of that going on here. This is gonna, I'm guessing, pair pretty well with some kind of salty fish, maybe some oysters. There's some flowers going on here, slight nuttiness quality. Really cool though. What's tricky about this wine, and maybe I shouldn't get to this yet because I haven't tasted it yet, is it smells like one thing, but taste something totally, totally, totally different. So let's see what's going on the palate. So one thing that really comes out here, that's the first immediate shocker, is because of those honey and beeswax kind of notes, you feel like that, not that this is going to be a sweet wine, but that there's going to be a little bit of sugar here, and this is dry. This is bone dry. Lots of acidity, lots of salivation going on here. Lots of that slight salty, kind of briny texture going on here, that if I just had a plate of oysters or olives, that's what I want right now. That seems like it's gonna pair well. But there's kind of a sour, there's a tartness going on here that you would not expect when you smell this wine. When you give this wine a smell, you're expecting that honey, you're expecting some of that beeswax to come through, and it is not repeating on the palate. But that's okay, I like this. This is funky. This is nothing like a typical wine that you've probably had if you're not exposed to this before. The acidity might be getting a little bit too high for my liking right now, but I find what happens with wines like this, with kind of these funky wines that taste nothing like what you're used to, what ends up happening is the first sip or two that you have, your mouth needs to calibrate to that flavor. It needs to get used to, this is nothing like what you're expecting it to be. It's not like most of the wines that you're drinking throughout the week or that month. And once you get kind of half a glass into these wines, you get 4 or 5 sips in, then you start picking up all these other flavors, and the weirdness dial just kind of gets turned down a little bit, and you get used to what this tastes like, and you start appreciating it for all its complexities. This is a really complex wine. This is a cool wine. It's a cool grape. I think everyone should try this, even if you don't like it. It's definitely interesting. It's definitely something you don't see every day, and if you pair this with the right food, olives, oysters, salty kind of fish, this could be pretty good. I like this. I know that a few sips in, this is a wine that I'm gonna like. I'm gonna like that it's funky. I'm gonna like that it's a little bit different, and I start to enjoy it, usually half a glass in. I enjoy it off the bat because it's weird. It's something different. I can't say that enough. And it's beautiful to look at. It smells great. Lots of layers going on. The more I come back to it, it's actually opening up and keeps evolving. Now there's kind of this cinnamon gum is the first thing I think of, like a mint cinnamon gum flavor that I smell. I don't taste it. No, I don't taste it, but I definitely smell it on that nose. It's kind of like you're opening a pack of gum, and that first burst of that cinnamon, you know what I'm talking about, that you just smell it right away. Lots of that now coming through on the nose, and it's gonna keep changing. Go find Rebula. Find it from Friuli, find it from Slovenia. I think that there's an island in Greece that also makes Rebula. Don't quote me on that. It's a grape I'm a little familiar with, but not globally where else they're making it. I just know of these 2 regions, but good acid, funky, cool. Haven't tried it, give it to your wine friends who are wine lovers, who like those weird things. Maybe if they're fans of things that are a little oxidated, that have a little bit of funkiness going on, that have a little bit of sourness, tart, really dry wines. This is something to check out. Till the next episode.